name is Joshua Everett. I graduated in 2015, and I'm a double major in public policy and communication studies.
Okay. Josh, where are you originally from?
I am originally from Goodwater, Alabama, and when I was about 12 or 13 years old, we moved to Leeds, Alabama.
Okay.
And that's where I am now. I went to public school in Alabama, which the quality of it was not that great. I would say the demographics were pretty even, between white and black, and then you had a few Hispanic, Asian, and biracial kids as well. And there was what I'll call a negative piece in that, there were like a lot of racial disparities that as a high school kid, you don't really notice. You're kind of getting socialized into thinking that is normal, and had been up to that point. And I didn't even really notice until tail end of high school, beginning of college, how messed up some of the things that went on were. But there were not a lot of overtly racial situations at my high school. But if you look at things from like the graduation rate to suspension rate and who was getting suspended to who was in remedial classes and who was in honors classes, you will see a lot of racial discrimination.
So tell me then, what were some of the groups and activities that you were involved in high school?
I played football and basketball all 4 years. I was really involved in high school, kind of like the average Vanderbilt student, I would assume. I was also on the Scholar Bowl. I was part of this group called FCCLA, Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. I was in the National Honor Society. I guess I just want to give the impression that I was involved in a lot of things. In my senior year, actually, I helped direct the first student-led Black History program at my high school. We hadn't had one like Black History program in all of my time there, and so me and a few other students kind of took the initiative to make that happen.
And what did that involve? Was it like a program or like a performance that you put on, or what was it like?
It was a program. It was a program that consisted of a few components. There was a quote component where we kind of recall quotes from past leaders. There was a highlighting of current community leaders, what people in the community were currently doing who were Black. And we had a speaker that actually went to this Dale school, a guy by the name of Dr. Marbury. And then we had a musical dedication at the end that kind of went through the history of Black music from like the plantation up to now. So it was a pretty good program. It got deleted off YouTube somehow. I'm kind of mad about that. I can't find it no more.
Okay. So when you made the decision to come to Vanderbilt, what other schools were you thinking about?
So I applied to 6 schools: Vanderbilt, Notre Dame, University of Alabama, Auburn, Clark Atlanta, and UNC Chapel Hill.
Okay, so of those schools, then why did you ultimately choose Vanderbilt?
It was all about the money. The no loans program really is a pretty good program, in the sense that it makes Vanderbilt difficult to turn down when money is in fact an object. And being in a single parent home, like, it was pretty well understood that I needed to go where I was offered the most money. I guess I can say, like, I I never did like fall in love with Vanderbilt the same way a lot of people did before they came. And you know, honestly, I think when you come from a certain situation, you're not allowed to view college as an experience, you know, but more so as a necessity or a duty that you have to fulfill. And so, like, I didn't expect to enjoy college because that's not the function I saw from college. Um, so, you know, when I was making the decision of where to go, that wasn't really something that I factored in.
What are some of the groups or activities that you're involved with here in Nashville at Vanderbilt, or at Vanderbilt, but also in Nashville, which might be different groups?
Okay. So in my time here at Vanderbilt, I've been involved with the Vanderbilt NAACP, Vanderbilt Money Think, Vanderbilt Students of Nonviolence, Vanderbilt Prison Project, what else? VOP, Voices of Praise, the spoken word ministry, Vanderbilt Spoken Word, of course. And I'm also an Ingram Scholar. So that's pretty much like what the groups I've been involved with on campus. Off campus, I've been involved with groups like Workers' Dignity, a labor project, an organized labor project. Our Vanderbilt, which stands for Organizing United for Respect at Vanderbilt. Open Table, which is an organization that seeks to end chronic homelessness. And well, those are the primary groups off campus that I've done things with. Oh, and Gideon's Army, I've been involved with them in like the local NAACP as well.
So you are involved in a lot of politically, active as well as some social issues, groups that have that at their core in terms of addressing the attack of those. Where did that come from in you, like this drive or this passion for that type of work?
Well, we could start growing up. I kind of felt the impetus to serve others from my mama, and that was centered around like the Christian faith of being a servant leader. That started to that didn't really start to materialize itself into justice efforts until I got to college, and I began to come into a more critical race consciousness. More specifically, the second semester of my freshman year, I was taking Professor Gilman Whiting's first year writing seminar, Race, Sports, and American Culture. And also the Trayvon Martin shooting happened. And, when I first got to Vanderbilt, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I needed something to tell people, and so I just spouted off, economics, how I do that. But when the Trayvon Martin shooting happened and I got involved with other students on campus and organized in good response to that, I realized that kind of work was, or I started to realize that kind of work was what I really got fulfillment from, and something that I wanted to keep doing. And so that's really where activism for me got started. Was with that Trayvon Martin shooting, and then later that semester, I literally stumbled upon the May Day rally for the dining workers that was happening on Kirkland Hall steps, and I knew I wanted to get more involved in that. And by the beginning of sophomore year, I was, just completely threw myself into those kinds of efforts.
Were you a founding member or a charter member of any of those groups that you mentioned, or any other groups on campus?
I was a founding member of Hidden Doors. I definitely wasn't, so I wasn't a founding member of Vanderbilt Prison Project per se because it was founded in '72, but it had been defunct for 2 years, and I was a part of the group that helped to bring it back on campus. But I was a founding member of Hidden Doors.
And tell me about Hidden Doors. What exactly was Hidden Doors, and what brought that to existence, and what is it that you guys continue to do today?
Well, Hidden Doors was a student movement on campus meant to raise awareness around issues of racial diversity and racial discrimination, and try to bring about a solution to some of those issues. It was a part of a whole zeitgeist of what was going on at that time at students at predominantly white institutions. Me and Jalecia and I think Kayla, Akaniene, Cortland, I might be forgetting names, but a few students, we kind of tossed the idea around, and we just said, well, why don't we have a photo shoot? And that was really a testament to how strongly so many students identified with the I Too kind of ethos, in that so many students showed up and had a testimony of microaggression that they had experienced on this campus, or feeling invisible on this campus. And it really stirred some things up at first. It really stirred some things up, and the administration definitely took notice. Now, of course, they didn't put out a statement responding to it the same way Harvard's president did. Some of the things that we're working on is making the first year experience one that's more culturally competent and not culturally delusional. Trying to get a racial and ethnic course requirement that is more specific than simply perspectives. Trying to reform the mosaic, how mosaic is done. Trying to increase funding for cultural organizations, as well as increase participation in cultural events. MLK Day also, and you just had the story in the Hustler the other day about how Greek life, sororities especially, will have more active participation in MLK Day as a result of that pressure. Trying to bring a chief diversity officer to campus so we can invest in some infrastructure to really look at institutional racism and try and make a plan to improve it. And also increasing student representation in VSG, the Vanderbilt Student Government. You can't approach a political problem from a reasonable, rational standpoint all the time. You got to think politically. What will these people respond to? What do they care about? How can I use what they care about to try and gain concessions? And frankly, at Vanderbilt, what they care about is their money and their image.
What's been the general reaction?
Primarily positive. And I guess more positive than I would have thought, in the sense that people were coming to me and using words like courage and strength and stuff like that. And I have a great appreciation for people expressing those sentiments to me, but in my own mind, I don't give a lot of validity to hierarchy. And so me addressing a letter to the chancellor in my mind is no different from me addressing another student, in the sense of the hesitation that I would feel to do it.
From when you first came to Vanderbilt to now, I know one big change in terms of, it sounds like you've become a lot more politically active and politically involved.
Yeah.
Are there any other changes that you would say you've made in your time at Vanderbilt? And Josh?
I grew up, man. I grew up. I mean, I'm not the same person I was when I left Leeds, Alabama on August 19th or 20th of 2011. You know, having exposure to so much intellectual capital, so much history, so much sociology, so much political science allows you to develop a theory and an ideology around the things that you're experiencing in real time. And so all of those things kind of factor into the way that you kind of develop and the way your personality sways through your time here. Like this onslaught of both a new environment and exposure to new knowledge at the same time. And so you're getting a social and a classroom education that, at least for me, I wasn't previously used to at the same time.
Mm-hmm. To this point in your college career, what would you say has been your biggest fear?
Probably not being enough, not living up to the expectations that I set for myself, or that, you know, people whose opinion matters to me set for me, and just not doing enough to reach some of the goals I might set for myself. So that's kind of been my fear, you know, inadequacy, I guess.
What would you say was the most difficult aspect of college life at Vanderbilt?
Even if you have racial pride and you're strong and confident about who you are and what you stand for, it's difficult to do the kinds of things I do and be the kind of person I am and not feel alienated at times.